Welcome back to the Narco Files, the channel where we talk about real stories, tough truths, and the hidden side of crime and justice. Today, we're not talking about drugs or cartels. We're talking about something even bigger and darker. It's a prison, but not just any prison. El Salvador's Mega Prison, a place built to hold 40,000 people. A place where freedom ends and fear begins. Why did they build a prison so massive? What's life really like inside those walls? Is it helping the country or just hiding the problem? We're going to break it down in simple words, no drama, no politics, just real talk about what's happening and why it matters. If you care about justice, truth, and stories the world tries to ignore, hit that like button, subscribe to the Narco Files, and let's get into it. Inside El Salvador's Mega Prison, a look beyond the walls. Prison built to hold 40,000 people. In early 2023, El Salvador opened a giant prison built to hold up to 40,000 people. It's now one of the biggest prisons in the world. It was built in just 7 months, and from the outside, it looks modern and high-tech. But life inside tells a very different story. Each cell is made for 100 prisoners, but only 80 metal bunks are available. That means 20 people have no bed. They sleep on the cold, hard floor. No pillows, no blankets, nothing to stay warm or comfortable. There is no privacy and no peace. Why would a new prison be designed this way? Was it really meant to help people change or just punish them? This prison says a lot about how El Salvador sees crime. It's not about second chances. It's about control, fear, and making people suffer. And that opens up serious questions about justice, fairness, and human dignity. Locked down and watched at all times. This mega prison in El Salvador is huge. It covers 166 hectares of land, surrounded by tall concrete walls that are 11 meters high and covered in electric fencing. There are 7 big guard towers watching everything from above. The prison is also filled with hundreds of cameras to keep an eye on every corner. Amazingly, it was built in just 7 months by 3,000 workers. When inmates arrive, they are fully searched for weapons or hidden items. After that, they are completely cut off from the outside world. No phones, no visits, no contact with family, nothing. Over 850 guards and police officers are on duty every day. They carry heavy weapons and are allowed to use deadly force if they feel it's needed. That means if a guard thinks someone is a threat, they can shoot. Inside these walls, safety is strict, freedom is gone, and fear is always present. Not a place for second chances. This prison in El Salvador wasn't built to help people change. It was built to make them suffer. The government didn't hide it. In fact, the Deputy Minister of Justice said clearly, "We want them to suffer." That tells you everything about the purpose of this place. Inside the prison, there are gym rooms, kitchens, and even ping pong tables, but none of these are for the inmates. They're only for the guards. The people locked up inside don't get any of those things. Prisoners are kept in their crowded cells all day and night. They are only allowed out for 2 reasons: to go to court or to be punished in solitary confinement. Alone in a dark, windowless room. There are no programs to help them learn or grow, no chance to earn trust or rebuild their lives. It's not about second chances here. It's about pain, fear, and complete control. A crime wave that shook the nation. In March 2022, something terrible happened in El Salvador. In just one single day, 62 people were killed. It was the deadliest day the country had seen in 30 years. By the end of that week, the number had climbed to 87. Families were scared, streets were empty, and fear spread everywhere. Most of these murders were blamed on 2 powerful gangs, MS-13 and Barrio 18. These gangs have controlled many neighborhoods in El Salvador for years. They've made people live in fear, asking for money, threatening lives, and spreading violence. This wave of killings was a turning point. People had enough. So the president, Nayib Bukele, took action. He declared a national emergency, and everything in the country started to change quickly. This moment became the reason behind the creation of the mega prison. It marked the beginning of a new, strict way of handling crime, with force, control, and no room for mistakes. Emergency laws and mass arrests. After the new emergency law was passed in El Salvador, everything changed. Police were given the power to arrest anyone without needing a warrant. People no longer had the right to a lawyer, and many were taken away without any proof of a crime. In some cases, just having a tattoo was enough to get arrested because it was seen as a possible gang sign. In only a few months, over 63,000 people were arrested. That's more than the number of beds in all the prisons in the country. Most of them didn't even get a fair trial. They were just locked up while the court decided what to do next. Some people were taken off the street, some from buses, and others right out of their homes. Families didn't know where their loved ones were. Many were innocent, but still thrown behind bars. Fear replaced fairness, and justice became a question, not a promise. The prison was built fast, but will it hold? Now it's clear why the government rushed to build a mega prison. They simply needed more space, but even with room for 40,000 inmates, it's not enough. Over 63,000 people have already been arrested. So what happens when the prison is full again? Will they keep building more? Will more people be locked up, even if they're innocent? And here's the biggest question of all. Does this really make El Salvador safer? Or is it just hiding the problem behind tall walls and locked doors? People want peace, but at what cost? That's something the country still has to face. What about human rights? Many human rights groups around the world are raising serious concerns. Groups like Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International say El Salvador's prisons are not safe or fair. They say the conditions are dirty, dangerous, and cruel. Inside, sick inmates don't get proper medical care. Some sleep on the hard, dirty floor with no mattress or blanket. Food is often served directly into their hands. No plates, no spoons. There's no soap, no clean water, and very little sunlight. One human rights worker said it didn't feel like a prison. It felt like a place of pain and punishment, like a torture center. People are dying, and no one talks about it. Since the emergency law started, more than 80 people have died inside El Salvador's prisons. The government says they died of natural causes, but when families come to collect the bodies, they often find bruises, cuts, and signs of being beaten. There are no real investigations, no autopsies, no clear answers. One worker from inside the system told a human rights group that people are dying every day and no one is talking about it. It's like these people are forgotten, and the rest of the world doesn't even know what's really happening behind those prison walls. If it's so bad, why do people still support it? Here's the twist. Most people in El Salvador actually support what the government is doing. Why? Because for years they lived in fear. Gangs controlled their streets. They asked for money from small shops, bus drivers, even kids. If you said no, they hurt you, or worse. So when the government started arresting gang members, people felt safer. Crime went down. Life got a little quieter. For the first time in a long time, it felt like someone was standing up for them. To many, the fear of gangs is still worse than the fear of harsh laws or police power. A deeper look at the root problem. El Salvador didn't become violent all of a sudden. In the 1980s and 1990s, the country went through a long and painful civil war. After it ended, many people moved to the U.S. Some joined gangs there and were later sent back to El Salvador, but the country wasn't ready for them. There weren't enough jobs, schools, or support. Gangs grew fast, and poor kids with no hope were pulled in easily. This mega prison isn't just about crime. It's about a long history of suffering, poverty, and deep wounds that never fully healed. It's a sad story with no easy fix. Is this a solution or a time bomb? President Bukele says the mega prison is a big win. He believes it's making El Salvador safer and helping people feel calm again. But many others are worried about what comes next. If you lock up people without proof, take away their rights, and treat them badly, what kind of person will walk out later, if they even make it out? Some of them may be innocent, but after living in such pain, they may come out angry, broken, or worse. Instead of solving the problem, this might create more hurt, more hate, and even more violence in the future. What would you do? Imagine you're just a tourist visiting El Salvador. You have a tattoo, maybe something simple or personal, but someone thinks it looks like a gang symbol. Suddenly, you're arrested. No lawyer, no phone call, no way to explain that you're innocent. You're thrown into a cell with strangers, and no one knows where you are. Sounds scary, right? But that's what's really happening to many people right now. This isn't just a story about a big prison. It's about how far a country will go to fight crime and what it might lose along the way: fairness, freedom, and basic human rights. Do you believe El Salvador's mega prison is really helping the country? Or do you feel like it's gone too far? Would you feel safe visiting a place where a tattoo could get you arrested? Let us know what you think down in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Just keep it respectful. If this video opened your eyes, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the Narco Files, and share it with someone who should know what's really going on. Thanks for watching, and remember, real justice isn't just about locking people up. It's about truth, fairness, and never forgetting the people behind the bars. Stay aware, stay human. This is the Narco Files.